named Joe is at the barber shop. Dominic is his barber. He says, Dominic, I won't be here in 3 weeks for my usual haircut. The wife and I are taking a trip with our friends. Where are you going, Dominic says? So we're going to Italy. We're planning to go to Rome. Rome. Terrible, terrible place. Why don't you go to Palermo, where I'm from? Palermo's nice. So how are you getting there? So we're flying Alitalia. Alitalia, terrible airline. Why'd you choose Alitalia? He said, where are you staying in Rome? Well, he said, we're staying in the Hassler. The Hassler, good reputation for tourists. It's a horrible place. What do you expect to do in Rome? He said, well, the primary thing we want to do is get to the Vatican, have an audience, see the Pope. The Pope, he says, looking at the Pope will be looking at my thumb from about 2 football fields away. Wait, you'll see. Should have checked with me before you spent your money. Sure enough, about 4 weeks later, Joe is back in the barber shop. Dominic says, well, I was right, wasn't I? He said, boy, were you wrong. He said, Rome was a beautiful place. It was lovely. Couldn't have been nicer. Alitalia, it was perfect. Maybe there are better airlines in the world, but I can't imagine what anyone could have done better. So how about the Hassler? The Hassler was a wonderful hotel. It might not compare with the hotels in the Persian Gulf, but it was spectacular. He said, well, you'll grant me that I was right about the Pope. He said, I was getting to that. He said, the wife and I were in the Vatican. We went to the Sistine Chapel with our friends. We're leaning up against the wall in the corner of the chapel, looking at the wonderful ceiling, when suddenly the wall moves. It's a secret door. There were 2 priests. They beckoned to the 4 of us and led us into this jewel case-like chapel, a tiny chapel that was absolutely spectacular, very, very small, absolutely gorgeous, and not 5-10 feet away, the Holy Father himself, the Pope, is sitting there, and he beckons the 4 of us come closer and puts his arms on my shoulder and looks right into my eyes. He said, son, first I want to bless you and your family and your friends. He said, but I have to tell you, I've been Pope now for 10 years. In every one of those years, perhaps 320, 330 days, I give an audience to the faithful here in St. Peter's Square. Perhaps there are between 300,000 and 500,000 people at each of those audiences. About half of them are men. A little simple arithmetic, you can figure out how many men I've seen in those days. In all that time, I have never seen a worse haircut.